Hey, good evening, everybody. Sammy Thunder here, or Sammy Blunder, I guess you can call me that. So Hobbypalooza 2024 was a smashing success, if I may say so myself. This is the 2024 After Hours live stream. I don't know who's going to jump in. I might just be talking to myself, which is perfectly fine. But hope everybody enjoyed what they saw. Have to really give a lot of kudos to John 3D80's kid for really spearheading this, and also to Mike Moynihan from Baseball Collector for entrusting us with the opportunity to kind of take the reins. So it was really a just it's an incredible event every year. It's something everybody I think looks forward to, and just you know great opportunity to experience a lot of different channels out there. Um, I figured, I think we ended on a really high note um, with Alex from Bowman 53 in delivering a great hour worth of vintage and titling vintage is king. But I think what the greatest thing of overall about this event is just the diversity of the different types of collectors that exist and celebrating everything from modern to vintage to the 90s stuff to the 80s stuff, pre-war, just kind of a celebration of everything. And it's kind of really nice to have it sit so close to the national. I think it really does bring a lot of excitement and into uh, into this big event. And a lot of the YouTube guys and a lot of the commenters, um, they kind of share that same level of enthusiasm and excitement. So really a lot to look forward to, and certainly a just I'm looking forward to it. And let me see, what we're at the 23rd, so I think we're about a month away, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at my calendar right now, and just literally a month. Um, 24th is the July 24th, that Wednesday. I'll be flying in, and that Wednesday morning, so that's going to be truly exciting. Uh, so got about 8 people in here so far. I'd love to hear what you guys thought about it. Thought about the Hobby Palooza this year. Um, John, I think again, John 3D80's kid really did a good job being able to kind of manage everything. I thought everything went smoothly. As somebody who was working behind the scenes as well for a number of the live streams, I thought that it was pretty seamless. But everybody, I thought, had a great time. Everyone was enjoying it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Andrew's here. What's up, Andrew? Ray from Philly. Yeah, Ray was. If you didn't catch Ray's uh, solo live stream that he did on the Baseball Cards Hall of Fame, the statistics that he had, all the analysis that he had from that was truly, I mean, everybody was engaged with that. The chat was chiming like crazy. It was just, yeah, it was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Ray was just captivated everybody's attention during that time. So yeah, it was quite the showing. Um, I'm gonna share the link in the chat in case anybody wants to join in. I mean, this was really just kind of a free, like a last minute effort to yeah, just to get some people in. I'm also gonna I literally didn't plan this fully out. I figured there were a lot of people who wanted to kind of hang out, so um, I'll share this with a couple people now, just so there's chances for more if anybody wants to join. Um, anyway, let's see. I was actually not at the Jordan Cards talk, but what I was curious if they said what they thought is the true Jordan rookie. I wasn't there for it. Unfortunately, I was because I didn't get back. I was in Jersey today, so I didn't get back until after. And that's a good question. 84 star, the 86 Fleer. Yeah, you're really comparing. Um, the 86 Fleer is the official issued card. The 84 star is the non. The non-official, I guess you can call it. Whatever, however you want to call it. It's the like it's getting a lot more recognition. I'm going to leave that comment up. It's getting a lot more recognition. The 84 star is getting plenty more recognition, and I wonder if part of that is because of PSA's acceptance of grading it now. Because I think for the longest time, I thought Beckett was the only one who were grading those cards, and I think what was it, in 2023, I think was when PSA accepted a lot of the star cards. I remember being a kid and you still see them at shows. Um, you still see them at shows. You still see the star cards kind of wrapped in the I don't know what you call it, the baggies, whatever. I don't know what you call them, but you still see them wrapped up. And I guess that's how they were delivered. I guess that's how they were presented or delivered. The sets. I remember being like always wanting that Star 84 Larry Bird, where he's taking what looks like to be a 3-point shot. Um, I can't remember. I think that to me it was like my favorite Larry Bird card when I was a kid. I remember seeing it. It was always so expensive. Jason, what's up, man? How you doing? Left the link in the chat, Jason. I don't know if you see it, but feel free to join. I got a beer handy, so yeah, that'd be great. Andrew saying influencers are pumping the stars. That's possible. Yeah, like at the shows. When I'm at shows and I'm looking at modern tables for any signs of vintage, I tend to see a lot of those star cards always making appearances. So definitely true. It could be true. A lot of the influencers seem to be kind of really enforcing that. Uh, Rick, thanks for collectors for taking over from Mike. Great job. Ray is the man. Love his hour. Andrew's a Hall of Fame commenter. And hey, Jason. Thank you, Rick. And I thought you and John did a good job too. You guys were rapid fire, showing some fire, no pun intended. You guys were really you guys did a great job as well in your show. And I mean everybody did a great job. Everybody had a little piece of the pie. It was great. Everybody's able to showcase their strengths and what they collect, and that's really that's part of it that I think is really enjoyable for everybody. So it's just again, truly awesome. That is correct. The minute PSA started grading them, everybody pushed them as the rookie. Yeah, it seemed to be the case. Uh, I think people are talking about the 84 star. If it grades really high, it could be worth more than the 86 Fleer Jordan, but I don't know. Um, what's one set you don't care for? I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I'm not as big of a fan of the 62 tops. I am big on aesthetic when it comes to the design of a card, and that's probably my least favorite set out of all the sets from like the golden age of stuff. So, I'm trying to think of any other years in particular. I mean, 55 and 56 are probably one of my favorite 50s sets. 60s, I love the 65. I'm a big fan of the pennant. That was one of the first sets I built. And I'm trying to think what else. But as far as 70s go, I do like the 71 just because of how tough they are to find in good shape. But yeah. Hey, Rob, what's up, buddy? Thanks for stopping by, man. Rick, yeah, John and Rick did a phenomenal job. Really, just kind of taking everything by the reins there. Is Fort Collectors hosting the Hobbypalooza 2025 or too early to talk about? Anything you would do differently? That's a question mostly for John as far as anything we would do differently. I don't know what's going to happen with Hobbypalooza 2025. I assume that, because of the success of this year's this year's Hobbypalooza, we'd probably get the opportunity to do it again next year. I think at this point, it sounds like the reins were transferred over to us. So, I think probably, John really took the reins of it. So I think if there's anything I would, if I were to do anything differently, I would probably give myself more time to help John. Theo probably would say the same. And actually, definitely Caesar. We definitely would have Caesar more involved. It wasn't a matter of choice for Caesar. It's just he was going on vacation, and unfortunately, around this time of year, it's just a lot of us are going on vacation, so we don't really have the chance to try to be all together. So it's sad. Unfortunately, we didn't have Caesar with us, but Caesar is a huge part for collectors, and we're definitely. I'm sure we're gonna. I think that's one thing we'll do differently next year is to have all four of us together. But honestly, this whole thing, John just did a great job. He deserves a lot of recognition for this, and I'm hoping that people check. More people that haven't checked out his channel will check it out because John does deliver great quality content. He does good editing on his videos, and he really deserves a lot more recognition. I think he works really hard at this, and yeah, very very pleased, very proud of what he was able to do with this. Jason saying 66 tops is pretty plain Jane. I think 66 is better than the 62. So I think it kind of gets a leg up. Craig, what's up, man? I was talking about you earlier today because Mookie, um, we were talking about, we were just talking about a bunch of different YouTubers, and I mentioned to Mookie about getting the Tom Seaver card with the decals that kind of imprinted on it with it. I'm still enamored by that card, by the way. I appreciate it, and I never forget about things that cards that are given. So thank you, man, again for that awesome card. And Ray from Philly, thank you, Rick. Yeah, Ray did a good job. Ray's statistical ability to deliver the content for the baseball card Hall of Fame was awesome. Tons of fun. Got tons of feedback on the Hall of Fame next year. Yes. What's one thing that you have told yourself when first collecting that you know now? Oh man, what's one thing you would have told? Oh, you would have told yourself when first collecting that you. Uh, ooh, that's a great question. What's one thing? Early on, I think we all kind of we make a lot of mistakes when we're getting into the collecting. You know, there's no right or wrong. You know what? There's no right or wrong way to collect. Um, but yeah, I think Jason says it best. Be patient. We're not in a rush to we're not in a rush to get to we're not it's not a marathon. It's not a race. It's a marathon. Or I think that's how it goes. I'm babbling. Um, I think knowing how I collect now. I mean, you guys can see in my backdrop here. I'm a player. I collect certain player cards, and I'm a lot more patient now than I was. I used to buy. I was just enthralled with vintage, and I wanted to buy every possible thing I could get. Like 65K line this day, 67 Brooks. I mean, God forbid if I can afford that at that time. Uh, but now I've kind of, over the years of collecting, I've learned to be a lot more patient. So I'm not buying something. I'm typically buying stuff maybe once every 2 weeks or so, because the stuff I want is I generally don't find them at at the shows. So I generally have to wait till like the Philly show to find the stuff that I want, or the National or Strongsville. So usually, or the County Center in White Plains, because those are the shows that are near me. Lou Rock, what's up, man? My bourbon buddy. What's going on, man? Looking forward to hanging out with you at the National, since I know you couldn't be there last year, but I think, yeah, you're going this year. So that's going to be awesome to hang out with you. If you can interview with the SGC and PSA, what would you want to know about the grading process? You saw that Mangini video where he said they should name the graders by name. This is a slippery slope. Um, they give you a very generic grading guide when you submit stuff. They tell you like what does a 1, a 2, a 3, and so forth, and authentic. What does that look like? And God, the problem is that there's a lot of factors that go into that guide because a 71 submitting 71s is not the same as submitting a 65 or any other year because there's just so many factors with the black borders on the or just the being that the 71 shows condition issues far more than any other set. There's to me there's more leeway in a 71. You're given a little bit of a rope with that. So that's a tough one. I that's the grading process. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, sometimes you submit cards for grading, and you think they're going to score high, and then they score mid, or I feel like I'm a good judge of my cards when I send them in, as far as what I think they're going to get. So, but then I submit that 59 Gibson I thought was going to get a 6 or a 7, and it gets a 5. So what can you do? So it is what it is. I don't know. I don't really think too much into asking these sort of questions. I mean, it's really, I mean, is it a matter of just not trusting the grading process? Is that what we're going towards? I don't know. But I'm going to bring in somebody right now who just popped in, and he's probably, I mean, just the name speaks for itself. Rick, Vintage Oddball Cards. Hello, friend.
Hey, Sammy, thanks for doing this, man. It was a blast. I actually watched a little of everything. Literally, I mean, 2 days worth, a little of everything. So it was so much fun. I mean, just so much fun. Different channels.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like a bunch of friends getting together, commenting. I don't know. I couldn't. 2 days well worth the just fun. So it was
Yeah,
fun.
it was great. I mean, John deserves a lot of the bulk of that, as far as the credit. But yeah, it seemed like everybody had a lot of fun. I mean, you and John were slinging cards left and right. You guys probably broke a record in terms of how fast you guys were doing it. So, bravo to you guys as well.
No, I mean we had a blast. We told John we could go on for let me take over your hour. We could keep on going. So I mean it's just two friends talking cards with everyone. So
Yeah,
it's natural. So
absolutely. Um, Let me ask you. I was curious. Because you're a big Matty collector. Do you have the 1915 Cracker Jack?
the 15, yeah. I actually see. I actually showed it in that video. You have to go um, to find it, but I actually showed
Yeah,
the 15 Maddie. And it's not my favorite looking. You know what? I wish that it was the same image as a 14 where he's pitching.
yeah.
But I'm not a big fan of that portrait, but it's a Matty Cracker Jack. Yeah, we got it 4 or 5 years ago.
I'll have to replay that because it's only I must have missed it. I
No,
must
it's
have,
all
I
right.
must
I
have
mean,
blinked. I must have blinked, and then
no, that's all right. I mean, people show cards, and I'll ask them 2 or 3 times. Hey, do you have that card? You go, no, I showed it. Whatever, it's hard to remember. I can't even remember half the cards I have in my collection, more or less someone else. So don't worry about
yeah. John, welcome again.
Thanks.
I thought
Actually, I have a
you.
question for Rick, who's very experienced with auctions, if I could. What's your experience with when people drop in their full bids? Because I'm tracking REA right now, and my entire national card budget is wrapped up in it
for the
currently.
roof. For the roof,
Yeah,
God, it's pretty expensive. That's a big time roof, though. Um, so what do you
yeah.
think? I mean, it goes on for a long time. That's the problem. Uh,
I was expecting to be done as soon as extended bidding started, but I'm still at my max amount right
okay.
now. So I wasn't sure if people just pop in later because the auctions never end until they actually hit the midnight Eastern thing. So
Yeah, you know what? Somebody, you know what's going to happen is somebody's bidding on something else. They have a bid on that roof and they're losing out on another card and they'll jump back in to that roof at the last minute. That's
Yeah,
usually the way I find it. I'm usually a lot of times I'm disappointed, you know, because I think I have it. It's still at that same price for a while, and all of a sudden people come out of the woodwork at the last minute to jump on it. But half the fun is getting that bid in, and you're still winning. You're still following it. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
um, hopefully, you never know though. Sometimes it is what it is. It could be a bid you put in yesterday. It could last the whole day, closes at that price. You just never know, you know.
yeah. I was guessing from the first moment I saw it, the eye appeal was too good for my budget, but
I mean, that's a big time card though. That I have a few of his strip cards. I think that's one of the more popular ones, you know.
oh yeah, as far
The
as the
more tougher
RT strip
ones.
cards, it's the biggest one,
Yeah,
really.
definitely. Doesn't is it the same one that Chris from Missouri has, or is that a different one?
Chris has the numbered version that's slightly rarer.
Okay. No, I hopefully you can get it. You know what? I mean, anytime you get any roof, you can't lose. Literally, you're not going to lose your money. It's only going to go up eventually. Literally going to go up. I wouldn't, you know, if you can get
Yeah.
it.
Well, for me, my whole plan, this is the biggest card purchase I'm ever going to make. I'm never
Sure.
going to save for almost an entire year for a card again.
Yeah, no.
So,
And if you have one, I'm telling you, another one is there. Another one to have is, God, I can't remember the number, but it's the larger strip cards. Uh, was it 551? It's a larger version strip card, but an actual photo of him. They came in a 3 pack, basically. There was three of them, the top, middle, and bottom, and there. I have a few of them, but those tend to be relatively, for roof, inexpensive. I wish I could tell you the number, but you know, you looked at roofs, but
yeah. I just felt like all the photo ones I like are way more expensive even than this one. So,
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, if you can get one, I mean, I love your Lou Gehrig. Like I said, I think I told you I have that same one. Um, I love that card. I'd like to get the roof in that card, but it's pretty expensive. But no,
I still
hopefully
have
you
it here
can.
because I haven't cleaned up from my Hobbypalooza show.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
well,
mean that's a fan. I love the size of those cards too. Very, I mean, they're the same as the Harringtons and the Yinglings and the Thorpes, you know, the
Yeah.
the Yorks. I mean, it's just a fantastic card.
Yeah, all the
I mean,
same
literally
photos
pick it
for
up.
all those sets. Yeah. Which, leads me to believe they're from the same printer because they have the
Oh
same
yeah,
paper stock.
and they're not even strip cards. They were cut from a machine, just like the Thorpes and anything else, you know, or however they cut them. They just call them strip cards, W cards, because there's probably what goes on is
I'll be right
they
back.
were all basically printed in the same area,
Going.
and somebody, a salesperson, would go to these different, whether it's a candy or this, that, or everything else, to try to sell it to them to advertise on the back. And those are probably weren't sold or were given out or whatever. And they've used, say, they're strip cards because you just don't have anybody to, have. There's no backing. They're just blank back. So, but they're cut the same way as the Harringtons.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you think? I mean, anyone I've seen, I don't see any like totally where I would be cutting them. Some kid would cut them like a normal strip card. Those are
Yeah.
actually cut just like the Harringtons and the Yorks, you know?
It does seem pretty clean on the
Yeah,
sides,
no,
just like my
no, they
Yingling.
are.
So,
Yeah, I'm sure they're cut the same way. Probably, I mean, there couldn't have been that many printers because they were all printed in the
yeah.
same Pennsylvania area. I'm sure same person was printing them, and they're just they weren't sold or They were given out at different things. They just no advertisement on the back.
David P. I'm sorry I don't collect hockey cards because I grew up in California, so I knew nothing about hockey until I played it on the Sega Genesis in college.
Well, here I'll help David P out because I have some stuff from the consignment that was that I'm working on selling. So let me show him some hockey cards to make him happy. Here's a nice looking Phillies Zito. Actually, I got two of them. So don't worry, I won't. You know, I won't. I only have a few to show. Bobby Hull. Actually, he looks like he's taking some chew. And Jacques Plante. There you go. Just wanted to. I generally don't have hockey cards either, so figured I would just kind of enlighten Mr. David P. to
I
keep
think
him
my
happy.
first version was the 1994, maybe 3. I don't know, sophomore year of college. A guy had the Sega Genesis, and so there ended up being a league of the entire dorm floor playing that game. So,
Hey, John, where did you lived in California again? You probably told me before. Where did you grow up?
well, I was born in Redwood City,
Okay.
and that's where we lived the first 10 years of my life, and then we moved up to Ukiah, where I finished high school.
Yeah, yeah. I was up in Redwood City. There's a German restaurant right downtown there the other night. I partaked in some. I live in San Jose, so
Oh
it's
yeah,
right up the street. Half
yeah,
hour, 40 minutes.
yeah. I was born in the Kaiser Hospital in Redwood City.
Oh, there you go. Hey, yeah, yeah. Huh. Small world. There's not too many collectors around my area. You have Maxa Jackson. You got Tops 85401 here, Nate, but there's not too many in my area.
Yeah, I went to Pacific for college over in
Okay.
Stockton.
Yeah, yeah. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, I think the sports card radio guys were ball boys when I was in school for the basketball team.
Yeah, Stockton, California, right? That's where they're from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think they were ball boys when Olo Candy was there, the #1 draft pick.
Okay.
Because he graduated a year after me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. My son went to Gonzaga University, in Spokane, Washington. So
Yeah, I spent a couple years in Spokane.
we kind of the school pretty much beats up on all those Pacifics and Loyola Marymount and all those schools, Santa Clara and so forth. So John, so you don't have to tell me the price, but is it pretty much under comps right now, or about comps what you're expecting with the roof?
Well, the comps vary so widely on that card just based off of eye appeal, and it's the mid-high range of what I see that card sold for at this point. So,
okay, so it is what it is, huh? If someone outbid you, they outbid you, huh?
Yeah, at this point, it's my entire national budget if I keep it. So
I always wonder that, if you see something, it's just kind of like you go to the national and you're like twiddling your thumbs. But hey, it's a once in a lifetime card, so you might as well if you can get it.
That was the case with for me for getting the Stallmeyer.
Yeah, yeah. You kind of fight that a little bit, It's like, I mean, you're gonna have fun, but it's just kind of, you're there 3 or 4 days, and you're watching everyone buy something, and you're just sitting there helping them out. But I guess you just make sure if you win it, bring it along, put it underneath your pillow, and put it on something around your neck and show everyone.
There are guys that do that.
I would something like that, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, John, just really seriously, I've said this when we were going. I mean, unbelievable. You guys, John, I mean, I have zero technology experience. I just put on my camera here, my phone, and go. I mean, the amount of time you spent editing and everything. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean,
Thanks,
literally
Rick.
unbelievable. No, seriously. I mean, people can have cars, this, that, and everything else. It's all about the community. And I can almost get teary-eyed now. I mean, I had so much fun the last 2 days, in and out. I mean, it's because of you. It wouldn't have happened. And Sammy, and I mean, literally, I can 2 days worth of total entertainment, and I didn't do anything. I mean, 1 hour with John, but I mean, you guys did all the work. And,
Well, that's to me was the fascinating thing is that I think this all came upon us like a month before, John. It was back in May when Mike approached you on it.
It was only a month ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
It had to come together fast.
and you must have been thinking yes at the first, and then you're thinking, oh my gosh,
hold
what am
on,
I
guys.
getting myself into, huh?
I got it.
Yeah, it's basically yes.
This is groundbreaking. Who I'm about to bring in because he doesn't do this often. Actually, rarely does this. It's rare to see this person in the wild. Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me well? I have this new headphone gear set up.
Well, you're gonna lure Greg in here now.
Well, I just jumped on to congratulate Rick Vintage Oddball Cards for his incredible performance in Hobbypalooza, which I was enjoying and loving the chat all the way through. And I wanted to compliment you on from what I understand, you spent a month rehearsing that number at the top of the show with John Mangini. You can correct the record. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
You know, it's funny, Mookie. I was saying, who is this? Who is this?
Who the hell is this guy? Yeah.
The number one commenter, man. You come up with some great stuff. And so you're going to the National, right? You're going to the National?
I'm going to the National.
Make sure you turn me around or whatever. I want to shake your hand.
Oh,
so many
100%.
people. No, seriously. And no, actually, we started this last year at the National with the Muppets. Just out of the blue, John brings these things, and we had James, the lead hunter, walk us around. We went to Starbucks. We just totally made it up. That was actually better, the ones we did at the different places. And
Yeah.
no, we just, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of dumb, but just to change things up,
Well, I'm up for dumb, so thank you for doing it. And then I also wanted to say congratulations to John 3D80's kid.
Yeah.
I mean, what
Thanks.
a gargantuan mammoth task. I know that the level of production and booking and thumbnailing and all of the pre-production work that led up to this weekend is like, I don't know if you know, did you ever see Top Gun 2?
I
The
did see
second
Top
one?
Gun too. They
They have to pull off two miracles to defeat the end, to win the thing at the end. There's miracle number one, they have to get in there, and then the miracle number two, they have to get out of there. Miracle number one is getting to the weekend, and miracle number two is getting through the weekend. And you pulled off both miracles with your friend Sammy Blunder and Theo. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's it. Mookie
Thank you
out.
very much.
I'm on myself. No, I'm on my second beer.
Sammy was in this room earlier today.
Yeah, I was there earlier today. Yeah, we decided to go to a last minute card show, and I got a chance to see the wall of the pinhole of fame. It is quite the treasure chest. Quite the treasure chest of stuff.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
you showed me the one thing you showed me was the New York Mets ball that Casey Stengel was throwing at the 1969 parade or the yeah, you got to show that thing. That thing is so cool. It's like a Mardi Gras throw. And it's sponsored by Rheingold. Rheingold beer.
So in 1962, when the Mets
62,
were
yeah.
coming back, before the Mets played a single game at the Polo Grounds, they held a ticker tape parade in New York to welcome National League Baseball back. And it was Casey Stengel and the whole team in open air convertibles driving down in front of City Hall. And on the way there was parade route. People were excited to have the Mets back. And Casey Stengel and the whole rest of the team in their cars were throwing out these balls to the fans, greeting them. Ryan Gold, extra dry, and there's the Mets. And so there's pictures you see of Casey Stengel throwing these balls. So this is one of the balls. This is the first Mets, piece of memorabilia there was.
So it was likely in Casey Stengel's hands, which is pretty cool. I thought
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. It was
Yeah.
it was the beginning of a phenomenal franchise.
Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, that was fun. Went to a card show and got some cool stuff. Mookie got some good cards, which I'm sure he'll show on his channel.
Yeah, I have them right here. I got a card for our friend Chris from Missouri that I'll bring to him at the National. A nice, cheap George Brett. And this is for my son. This was a nice damaged 56 Willie Mays that
Good
can't.
sending.
It's got a nice crease down it, but yeah. See, that's like, this is the stuff that I pick up, and then I watch Rick's show, and he's got he's got Babe Ruth's like Edward Scissorhands, like.
Yeah, but I'm twice as old as you guys. So a lot
A lot
of these
cheaper to
cards,
pull them from the packs.
I purchased them when they were like that,
Yeah.
So.
Rick, do you have that Mathewson that you're thinking you said you were going to be moving the T206? There's a dark
Yeah,
cat.
I'm gonna do a video,
Okay.
and I'll show you. I'll show you to you first. I don't know. Let me know. I'll send you a picture of it. Let me know. No, I need to get rid of some stuff just to have some money for the national.
Well, you're making that deal at the National, right? You're working that out. Or it's
Yeah, we'll
pretty much
see.
finalized.
We'll see it. We'll see.
Yeah,
That's
we all
exciting.
can't wait to see how that winds up. This mystery card. We've heard a lot about it.
We'll see. I'm not going to say anything until it's done. Who
Yeah.
knows? Who knows?
Okay.
But so, John, you still in the ball game?
Yeah, still nothing. So
All right. I was looking on that for the Williams caramel Thai cob that's on there. That is pretty tough to find. It's a little over my budget, so I'm already out of the game for that. But,
yeah, I don't think I even bothered us to look at things that are outside your budget.
yeah, well, no, heck, half the fun is looking at this stuff. You know what I mean? I get the catalogs. I mean, they're like
Sure.
20 pounds. I get them on my house, seems like once a week, just to go through them. I mean, literally, and they do some research on some of this stuff. I read it. And if I do research on a card, I'll go into REA if they have that card and see what they say about it, So it's not just about buying it. It's a museum. Some of these things that I can't, I love looking at that stuff.
I bet your mailman loves you with all those catalogs.
Oh, they're so. Do you get some of those catalogs?
I've held them
I
before.
mean, they're
Yeah.
this thick. I don't know
Like
how
a
they
phone
pay
book,
for that
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Well, I know how they pay for that stuff.
Commissions?
Well, yeah, exactly. But still, it's like, and sometimes it just goes from here to the recycle because I've already seen it online.
Oh yeah, those are so wasteful now with the
Yeah.
internet.
Yeah, but yeah, some of that stuff's just. I mean, if you had all the money, it's just unbelievable stuff.
Yeah. So, Rick, let me ask you. You were a viewer of most of these hours, like you were saying. Was there any hour that surprised you, or you learned something that sort of, opened your eyes to a different thing, or changed the way you think about something?
Well,
or anything?
yeah, I mean, just because I typically, what I like is I want to learn something. I was a
Yeah.
teacher in my old days, and I'm always trying to learn. That's why I collect some of this stuff. I like researching it and the history of baseball. So something even as the Jordan guys, I learned a lot. I don't collect Jordan. I mean, I have some Jordan cards, but I don't, collect Jordan. And I don't know any of the stuff about modern. So that was kind of interesting to me. I like people that actually show stuff. They're not into, the drama, this, that, and everything else. So if you're showing something, Ray from
Yeah.
Philly, I love his presentation about the things like that really
Yeah.
kind of get me excited. But if you're just talking, randomly about something. I don't know. That's just me. But I like to learn. Dave Blue Jacket 66. I like learning from him.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. Just whatever. I just show me something. I want to learn. Whether even
Right.
if I don't enjoy it, it could be a football, hockey. Um, I don't know. Just open my eyes to different things. So anything like that is enjoyable.
John, is that were you able to consume while you were producing, or do you have anything that sort of stuck out to you as things that made you say ooh?
Uh, yeah, I was happy. I got those spitballing cards guys on there because, I mean, honestly, I only marginally even follow baseball. Once I got to be the point of being older than managers, it just uh, doesn't have quite the same allure. Um, but yeah, those guys are passionate about the subject,
Yes.
and that just made it engaging. Even though half the names they even mention, I honestly don't know who they are, but uh,
Yeah,
they
the way they think about modern baseball and baseball collecting is really like it's very integrated and sort of moneyballish and fascinating. And if I was in that world, that's probably how I would collect. I don't really collect that way, but it was compelling stuff. They're really smart
yeah.
guys. Yeah.
Because to me, I recognize the fact that when I've been spending this year in pre-war, I am diving in with both feet, and that's the way these guys are on that subject. So
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
But
They thought,
I was gonna say that's good. I mean, I like the variety. More the variety, the better. Even though I don't collect some of this stuff, I think 2 days worth of different autographs, modern basketball. I think that's good. Get everyone involved. This doesn't have to be pre-war, just vintage. Um,
well, well, that's a good point. And I wonder, John, how did you guys, one couple of you, there are big couple of big decisions you have to make when you're putting this thing together. A, who is it going to be? And B, what order are they going to go in? So you can sort of, you don't ever
yeah.
want to you don't want to have to empty out the arena. You want the people to be able to stay, in order. So talk about that process for you. Like, what was that like? Or was it all sort of predetermined, or how did that go?
So all this time around, Greg, I feel like you're ready to start doing interview shows, huh? But
Well, I'm genuinely interested in it. That's why I'm here.
all right, peek behind the curtain. So, I mean, honestly, inheriting it, I did feel obligated to invite a lot of the legacy hosts. So I kind of scanned through the past years as my first thing. If people half-assed their preparation, I did not invite them.
Yeah.
If they actually prepared a well-oiled machine show, then they got an invite from me. And at that point, that is like, how many spots do I have left with who can make it based on their availability?
Right.
So, and then somewhat, I did want to replace the genres that couldn't make it with the same genre, so we'd have a well-rounded group. So that's I'm blanking now because I'm tired, but I forget who the other modern baseball rep was that couldn't make it. So then I've seen these guys, the spitballing cards, a few times have appeared in my stream, and I've watched a couple. So and I thought they would be perfect, and they were. So, and then likewise with modern basketball, then I ended up inviting the Cajun cardboard guy with the Jordans because the other guy that had done it in the past couldn't make it. So,
Mhm.
and just tried to well round it. And right away, I asked people when can they not do it, and so then I got an outline of everybody's time restriction. A few people needed a certain time, and then I filled those in first, and then everyone else, I just tried to mix and match, not having the same genre nonstop a little bit as much as I could. I know I wasn't supposed to be originally behind John and Rick, but we ended up having to switch days, which I'm glad I actually did the show I was running on the first day, because I would have been toast as a host today. But yeah, so I had to work it in everybody's schedule. Even once I started sending out all the times, had a few people come to me and say, "Oh, we need to switch because of something or other." And then I found a few trades that I could make, and it eventually fell all into place. I think one of the things that helped also maybe with having all the shows come out as good as they did is I forced them to give me a subject and guess like ASAP, like within a week of them saying yes. Because then I think then they prepared that subject better than they would have otherwise.
Yeah.
Because I said, I'm going to do a preview show and I need these thumbnails set for that for the most part. And I had, probably pretty much 22 out of the 25 fully set by the time I did my preview show. So
yeah,
there's a lot that goes into those thumbnails too. It's not just wham bam. John had to collect photographs of all these guys and then extract the backgrounds, I imagine, to be able to kind of impose them on top of these like white backgrounds that we have. So it's a lot of work, man. That's John.
I do have an archive of cutout photos of a lot of people now. So
yeah. So for next year, they'll be the same youthful look, and then we'll see how they look next year.
No one's gonna age.
Sammy's beard's going to be down here.
No, I'll never reach Scott status. It might be more white than it was, but or salt and pepper, but we'll see.
Well, we were gonna, we said, we were gonna kind of old guys complaining about the hobby, but we can only do it a couple of minutes. We can't go an hour with that, so we just kind of changed it up and said, hey, let's do some e-cards, so after a few minutes, I said, we can't do a whole hour of just complaining.
Well, I have to say, you and Mangini going back and forth was like a rapid fire hose. It was
Bam, bam, bam.
I mean, and it was very different from anything that had happened to that point. And so it was really really enjoyable to see you guys going back. It was like a dueling banjos of e-cards.
Well, I would look at the time. I'm thinking, okay, we got 15 more minutes. I got a bunch of cards here. John's looking, we can just rapid fire these things. And I'm more the organized than John. John's just going on. I said, hey, let's start with the, E90s and we'll go on. And then John right off the bat's going, this, that. And I go, oh, I got that.
Yeah.
We'll just natural, just like two guys talking.
Well, it was really fun.
It's fun. I mean, I'm so happy to do it. This is my first year of Hobbypalooza, so no one ever asked me. John, but I had a great time. So, John, if you have a spot for us next year, if you don't retire, look for us old farts again to do something.
At this point, I'm planning to go for it next year, and I'll have a little more than just 1 month in advance to plan. So.
And I'm sure, with Caesar probably being around as well, we'll have more support because, John took the bulk of this, so we definitely, Theo, Caesar, and I will step it up next year and offer more shifts.
Let me ask you this: how much did you have to worry about Mike Petty after his sports card radio spot?
He promised to tone it down, which he did mostly. I haven't seen a notification that the video was demonetized.
Yeah, Federal Communications Commission can't touch you, so you're going to be fine.
I was thinking, Orlando's totally the opposite. You have two guys totally the opposite, and they pulled it off. But I was a little worried about Petty after seeing the sports car radio
Petty got Orlando out of his shoes. That was great. Like Orlando was on fire. It was like a performance I've not seen from him. So.
Oh yeah, he's always Mr. Kind, Gentle
Yeah.
Positivity, and he was spitting barbs there.
Yeah, and another thing. It was really good.
Yeah. Petty and Orlando, the new odd couple.
Yeah, it was good.
That was, yeah.
Well, how about the behind the scenes work, Sammy? What was that like, navigating the comments and herding the cats in the back room?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, pretty streamlined. Being able to kind of navigate both. I was kind of getting a little bit of push to get more comments in the feed when Greg and Darren were hosting. But I mean, Greg had he wanted to do things in a particular way, which is fine because it's his hour or it's their hour, so they wanted to do things. So they had their own questions that they worked up. And so, but everyone was asking questions in the queue, and so I was getting like people saying, "Oh, put it on the screen." And so I was like, "Well, listen, I want to give them their time, and then afterwards, I'll start throwing things on there." But other than that, though, man, I mean, it was again smooth sailing.
I mean, that's another wild. Oh, go ahead, John. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to answer. For me, the most challenging one was the spitball and cards guys, because they got so fired up with giving their answers and go back and forth. And I thought they would be done. And then all of a sudden another guy just keeps going. Mm-hmm. And so I keep trying to put the next question on and they don't read it. And then they don't read it. And
that's the other thing. It's like, and one of them mentioned it on the air when he was going was, I've never not, he said, I've never not been in control of the comments before. And so you have this like dynamic where you're the producer of the show and they've never had a producer before. And you have to sort of lead them with the screen. It's a difficult and delicate thing that you pulled off really well. Again, it was great. But again, there's different dynamics of different people. Like, some people really want that control and some people just are totally hands off and don't care.
Yeah, eventually I realized I just had to wait for them to say next question before I bothered to put another thing on the screen.
I kind of timed it. I kind of did especially with Greg and Darren, because I think those guys, honestly, they were one of the hours that commanded the largest audience. There was as many as 115 people at one point for their live stream.
That back-to-back hour of Mike and Chris and them was the most watched.
Yeah. So
right. Yeah.
Listen. I mean, I've never worked in a TV type or any sort of that sort of audience, but I kind of went with the flow that Darren and Greg had, so I was able to tell when they were coming down from answering a question to be able to kind of lead into the next one. So again, it's just a matter of watching these guys and seeing how they present and watching the videos as solo content creators and then working together. So you kind of get a feel for certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of.
Yes, is Greg still here? I think we've got a replacement for being an interviewer / moderator here.
He's right there.
He says, "I thought Sammy did an okay job."
Did you say okay?
Great job. No, it's a great job.
You know what? I would have accepted the okay. That's fine. I'm okay with mediocre.
There's Stu.
Stuke, yeah. Oh man, Stuke was the MVP, man. He was presenting Theo was telling me that he was presenting it live at a card show that he was set up at. They had it on a monitor.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So that was
Hobbypalooza's getting out there in the world. Will you have any sense of metrics, John, at any point? Like, is there any way to tell how many people, unique users or anything like that? Or is that, am I asking too much of you?
Yeah, all that stuff comes in on our data on our YouTube info, but I mean, like you can see the average and peak for each stream in the analytics, and yeah, I think other than the shows kicking off the day, everything was like averaging in the 60s at a minimum.
Yeah.
So the ones that at start in the morning, the first half hour generally only had 20 to 30 people, so that screws up their average. But
yeah,
well,
I was there.
It's 7 a.m. for Rick and I, so
Yeah, exactly.
That's early.
I know Rick was up because he has the old man schedule.
Yeah.
Isn't this past your bedtime already?
I know. That's what's one thing about these auction houses, right? If you're on the West Coast, you can stay up.
They're screwed. The East Coast, though. Yeah.
So that's the added advantage for you guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sammy and I make up for it with our 3 card shows we could have gone to today. Right,
that's
Sammy?
right. So you guys can't have card shows, but you can have as many auctions as you want. Advantages there, but we have all the card shows. That's how it goes.
At least Rick gets some down there. Pacific Northwest sucks.
Yeah.
You have that one card show in Portland, right?
Yeah, it's like 30 tables, and it's almost all shiny.
It's frustrating.
So for all these auction houses have different rules. For REA, is it cut off at a certain point? What's the do you know how that works?
Well, supposedly at 9 Eastern is the extended bidding hours, which it requires there not to be a single bid in the entire auction, which never happens.
Yeah.
And so then midnight is when they all go separate with 15-minute intervals.
See that.
So 9 p.m. our time.
15-minute lot by lot. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got another hour to sweat it out.
Yep.
I'm looking right here. I'm going to live through you.
Yeah, that's me right now, the current high bidder on that card. So if it goes any higher, it's not me anymore.
I don't know. It's been like that for a while, though. So you never know. Maybe
John, is that the card that you're trying to go for at the National? You found it in auction? That's the Babe Ruth?
The Babe Ruth W519 unnumbered.
It has it's beautiful color on that thing, man.
Yeah, that's why I figured I would probably go outside of my budget, but
it hasn't yet.
Not yet.
I hope it. Do you feel? Let me ask you this question. I guess this goes for. I don't do that many auctions, but for Rick and for any of you guys that do the auctions, do you find that auction prices when they come to a final price are generally less than what you would have to pay if you go to the National?
Well, you're going to add on taxes with these auction houses for the most part. Most of them are going to charge you whatever percent of where you live.
Oregon, baby, 0%.
There you go. For California, it's just we're basically screwed. So I don't know. It depends on the item. It's kind of interesting. I put let's say 10 different items an REA, okay? But I'm not going to win any of these 10. But if one I see is undervalued or no one's bidding on it, maybe I'll win it. But for the most part, REA, man, you're paying up for places like REA. They're going to get top dollar for what that's the number one. If you have something you want to sell that's expensive, rare, whatever, I would send it to REA. You're going to get the most views on it. So
One of the good things is REA, Sammy, is in New Jersey, and Pete, your old buddy Pete, won his Jackie rookie, and it was like a high dollar card, and he just drove down to it, and they met him in the lobby and handed him the card. They didn't have any shipping, no nothing. So that's a good thing about REA. I think
Well,
Golden is
shipping's
somewhere in Jersey.
amazing.
What's that?
Their shipping is amazing. When I won the Gehrig, I paid on Monday and I had the card Wednesday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they sent it 2-day FedEx where it had to be signed for.
Is there a percentage like what are they? You have to outside of tax. I've never bought anything from or won anything in an auction from these auction houses. But is there a premium you have to pay for with it being an auction and everything? Like there's a certain percentage you have to pay for, like you have to pay up for.
Well, whatever
Yeah.
the bid amount you see is, it's a 20% more.
20%.
Wow. So if it's like wow.
Yeah.
So if it's $1,000, you have to pay 12. You have to
Yeah.
pay an extra 200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, that's
So like what you end up seeing on VCP later is with the adder tacked on as well.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess as you mentioned, Rick, I guess it depends on the card because that added premium and the sales tax could add up to where if you just went to the national and bought it there, that could be equivalent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess it all
And
depends.
they go by, I mean, these places at the national, whatever, I'm sure they go by BCP and stuff like that
Yeah.
already, But I mean, a lot of the stuff on REA, you just, you don't see it. So,
hmm
you're going to pay up on sometimes, like this one that John's looking at, it doesn't come up to auction very often. At the national, it might be one or two of them, and it might be like in a 2 or 3 or 4 that you can't afford anyway. So
Right.
you're very limited to see one like what John's looking at, and you just hope that you don't have two bidders bidding up the thing. So
Yeah, my budget on this only works for authentic. Any
exactly.
strip card, they get jacked up when you get a number on them.
Yeah. And so how many? I mean, I don't know. The pop on that's probably 30 or something like that. I don't even know. Do you know what the pop is on that, John, roughly?
I did.
30,
can't
50,
remember.
something like that. 20, between 20 and 50. And I'm just throwing it out there. But then again,
in the range that I can afford, it's pretty low.
yeah. And then you go down. There's maybe authentic ones that are maybe there's 5 or 10. That you might have a chance at affordability wise. So
I hope you win it though, man. That would
yeah,
just
I want to see it at the national.
Oh, the comment, Jason, VCP. I do not use it for the averages ever because they're kind of crap. You have to look at the cards that have sold in the history and look at how they look eye appeal wise, because there can be such a wide spread. I mean, the card I'm looking at could go anywhere from as low 2000s to upper 5000s, just in the same authentic. So,
yeah.
And so you bid 5,000 tonight. Is that what you're saying?
No. That's where I was figuring that this might be at that high end in terms of what I've seen historically with eye appeal,
Right.
in an authentic. So that's why I thought I wasn't going to get it. So
Yeah, I don't think the grades, you know what, I don't, stuff like that, I don't think the grades even matter, you know. I can see a 3 that looks all faded out, creases and everything else, and people will pay for the grade, and you see something what John's looking at, and just because it's a minimum size, it's not cut totally correct. It looks a lot better than some of the 3s that people pay up for. So
So when you talk about so is REA a favored auction house? One of the things, I'm like Sammy in that I'm not an auction house bidder, but part of the reason I'm not is because it's such an opaque landscape of a million different places, and they all have different intricacies of what they provide and how they ship and how communicative they are and all that. Is I guess my question for you, Rick, is REA at the top of the heap in your view, or how do you view the pecking order of these different auction houses and how
well,
you
I
use
mean,
them?
REA is top of the line. So if you call them, you can get someone right on the phone. So if you say, hey, this Ruth here, does it have a crease? Looks like it has a crease in the corner. The person, you can actually get the owner of REA on there, and he'll say, yeah, it does have a crease, or, let me send you another scan of it, or where it came from. Do you know anything about the card? They'll answer those questions for you if you want to spend the time on the phone with the
Okay.
person. There's others like Golden, I wouldn't recommend, because they'll send a unclear picture. You'll look, hey, there's no creases on this, and you get the card and it's creases, and what's going on, or some of them don't even say anything. They'll just say, hey, here's a Babe Ruth, whatever. Don't talk anything about the card. Here it is. You see the
Right.
pictures front and back. That's the card. So REA is top of most of them are. I had zero
Yeah.
issues mailing, getting a hold of them, pay anything, shipping. They're all first to me. Even Golden, I've never really had an issue with them sending anything or any
Yeah.
kind of issue. They work with you. I had a thing where I was going to pay them one way. I pushed the wrong button. I called them up. Whatever. They work with you. You can ship different things any way you want. I say, hey, I'm not going to be home. This, that, and everything else. So I really, are just Golden. What other one? Oh, none of them. Love of the Game. I've never had an issue. Heritage. Never had an issue. A few of them
Yeah.
don't charge on taxes. I don't know if it's Heritage or Love of the Game. It's hard to keep all these. Some don't, do the
Yeah.
tax thing, or I don't know. I've had a good experience all around with most of them.
Okay.
So if you see something on there, all you need to do is you don't have to, most of them, you don't have to give any kind of financial information. You fill out the application. They'll ask how many, eBay, how many things have you bought, sold? Have you bought something, this, that, within a day or
Hmm.
10 minutes, you're activated, you can bid. They'll send you a catalog, whatever, for free, so you can look through it.
Yeah,
If you
that's
want to
a good.
bid, you bid. If you see something, you never know, I know there's people out there that do multiple, like maybe you're looking for a, whatever, it could be a 67 Willie Mays, they have it there. Hey, you put a bid in, if you win, you win, you don't, you don't, you move on. You have to put in that 20% if it's taxes too, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I have not had an issue, but if I was going to spend big money on a card, and I had a question about, God, it's not that clear. Most of them you can, man, they have the zoom, this, that. You can do magnify this, that. You can pretty much see everything. But if you still are not comfortable, they will answer the person will answer, even the owner of that company, you can get them on the line and say, hey, we're just whatever your question, they will answer the question for you for the most part.
Well, that's good to know. That is good to know.
Yeah, yeah. So I have zero issue. I mean, for things like I'm here, I'm taking up all the time. But for things I look at right now, I don't really see anything on eBay. You know, I'll have a list of things that I look every night just to see, you know. But most of the stuff
But
I
so then,
look
how
at.
do you do your searching, Rick? So then, is it? Are you just going to all the different companies' websites? You have all their brochures in
Yeah,
front of you. Like, it sounds like a job in and of itself, just to get to all the different places where the nooks and crannies of where you're looking
yeah,
are.
yeah. There's what is it? I can't remember the website now, but it will give you. You click on it, and they'll give you all the dates of when the auctions are going to start. Okay,
Yeah,
so I just click on it. I'll be notified. I look, you know, it's fun. Actually, some of my friends, I'll say, hey, it's REA day. You know, we all go on there and just look at it, you know,
yeah,
and it's just fun to look, you know. So I love the game,
yeah,
heritage, hunt. I mean, there's so many of them, and
yeah.
I
Well,
just
once you go
look,
around
you
and
know.
sign up for all of them, they send you an
I,
email when the new auction gets
yeah,
released.
I
yeah.
bet
I'll
they
get an
want you.
email, 9 a.m. It's REA, and I'll have a chat with some people. Hey, it's REA day, and then they'll say, "Hey, I'm going to bid on this. You know, do you mind if I bid on this or this?" So we don't bid on the same thing. Or they'll say,
Right.
"Hey, you know, this is you want this? Do you have this? You're going to bid on it? What do you think? How much you think it might go for? You know, what do you want to have this, that, and everything else?" So that kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, now REA is pretty more high end, but Heritage, Love of the Game auctions, a lot of them, they sell $50 cards, $100 cards, or,
Yeah.
you know.
And from what I understand, you can get decent bargains. I hear people all the time saying that lower tier stuff, there aren't as many eyeballs necessarily
Yeah,
on it because it's in that, but maybe I'm
I mean, I mean,
overgeneralizing. I don't know.
the yeah, there's cards I wish I bid on. I see the final, you know, I'll go the next day, even though whatever I didn't. I just scroll through it to see kind of what some of the cards. And some I'm going, dang, I should have bid on that. You know, you
Yeah.
just never know. And then you see some, you're going, are you kidding me? It went for that much, you know? And
Yeah.
it's just, you know, that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are bargains to be had with like the
Yeah,
lower three figures or even
yeah,
two-figure cards.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
Is that what
Oh,
you do, John? Do you shop in that way?
no, because ever since I started getting into auctions, I've been on the Ruth quest. So, I'm just observing at this point. So,
Okay.
when when I get past this hurdle, then it opens up those opportunities for me.
Okay. You have a big babe in front of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
so Mookie, refresh my memory. What do you collect again?
I'm a sort of post-war golden age kind of guy. A lot of Dodgers and Giants, and my pinhole Holy Grail wall over there. This is a big collection of mine. I'm a Mets collector. I have like a 1986 Topps Mets signed team. Like that was my big pursuit for a little while that I finally completed. Got all those autographed cards. Rusty Staub was a tough one to get for some reason.
Okay,
Rusty's
okay.
no longer with us, but like that, those are sort of my verticals, I guess. I have, yeah. Greg points out Larry Doby. I'm a big Larry Doby guy.
Okay, yeah,
I love Larry Doby. Um, yeah, so that's it.
yeah. Okay.
Jackie, Larry,
Yeah.
that group. Yeah,
Yeah, well,
it's not as wide and as expansive. And so when I see you guys doing your stuff, I'm like, oh my god, the
yeah, but I'm
universe
not
that's
that
out there
wide.
waiting.
I mean, I'm not that. I'm zero modern. I mean, I have modern, but I don't collect. So I don't even look at modern whatsoever.
Other than
And I
Steph
have
Curry.
most of what I need for, you know, 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s cards. So
Yeah,
I'm looking for more specific things. And if I don't buy every day or anything like that, you know.
yeah,
Could be once every few months, you know, I don't.
yeah.
So I'm more specific than just a wide range of whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you just have a. I mean,
No, but I mean, even I think you would find stuff you see uncut. I mean, some of these 11 game, some of these auction houses, you'll see uncut sheets. You'll see Mets memorabilia, Rusty
Hmm.
Staub autos, a million different autos, balls, this
Yeah.
programs, not just cards.
Yeah.
You type in New York Mets, you're going to see a list of things that they sell clocks, they sell whatever,
Yeah.
watches, to
Yeah.
you name it. Uh,
It's funny. I'm right behind Sammy on a bunch of his cards. He's got the Seaver rookie. I'm looking for one of those. He's got a nice Nolan Ryan collection I admire and love. Um, so yeah, and the Christy Mathewson stuff. And frankly, I like both of your Christy Mathewson collections because I feel like give me a couple more years and I'll be in that lane at some point. I feel like.
no, you can get, you know what? You can get one of his strip cards in that lane. He's
Hmm.
got a few strip cards that that are affordable.
Yeah. That T205 is one that I like and is pretty interesting. The gold
Yeah,
border one. Yeah.
This is the one piece the one Maddie piece I really appreciate because I don't
yeah.
think this
So
one. I don't think
something
this.
like that you would see in an auction. You typically wouldn't see on eBay. You would see in an auction house would have something like that, something similar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a schedule for the 1913 season,
Oh wow.
and I think what I really just enjoy about this post, like not is about this fold up schedule, is Maddie's endorsement of duplex Durham duplex razors. So you kind of get, you get Maddie on on the very front because obviously that's that's the focus. You get his endorsement, and then you get the sponsor. So I think it's just kind of a nice piece of kind of American culture clash, baseball and shaving.
Yeah.
So,
I like that. The guy with the beard has a shaving advertisement. I love that.
yeah, this one came from what's his name? Dan McKee, I think his last
McKee,
name.
yeah, Dan McKee.
I bought it off of him because he has a very very large eBay inventory, and I think
Yeah,
he'll be at the National. I think he has a table,
yeah,
so I'm looking forward to seeing his table. I always reach out to him for any obscure stuff because he generally has a sense of to find that stuff.
That's cool.
Rusty Staub. See, I remember Rusty Staub. I remember Rusty Staub playing. He was a
Look,
fantastic
Ron
player.
Orange. Yeah.
Fantastic player.
Yeah. It's funny. Sammy gave me as a gift today this 1972 Mets yearbook. And this was the first year that Rusty came to the Mets. And so I was looking at this earlier today, Sammy.
Yeah,
We have a nice Rusty Staub insert here. Hold on, I gotta find it.
those
All
yearbooks
right.
are just so full of cool stuff there, man.
There's Rusty, number 4.
Yeah. I
Pretty cool.
remember him more. Maybe you can set me straight here, but as a pitch hitter a lot. He
Mhm.
pitch hit a lot later in his career.
He was later. He was on the Expos at the end, wasn't he?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, he started out with the I think he was wait, did he go to the Expos after the Mets? He was a Tiger, I think, to start, and then I know he was the first Met to get 100 RBIs in a season. I don't know why I know that, but that's the truth. So he was Houston, Montreal, New York Mets, then the Tigers, then Texas, and then back to the Mets. And he was a pinch hitting specialist at the end there
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one of the yearbooks. I can't remember what year it was. I have it nearby, but one of the yearbooks has a photo of Nolan Ryan for his, I guess they like a little blurb that they write about each of the players, and it has not a picture of him pitching, but a picture of him what looks to be bunting, and it's just such a cool thing to see a picture of Nolan Ryan doing anything except pitching. So I gotta find that. I thought that was really just that was the first photo that caught my eye when I opened up I can't remember what year, it would have to be one of the early yearbooks, like 70, I think it was 70 or 71 or something.
Yeah, he was gone in '72. They traded for
Yeah.
Jim Fregosi. Yeah, but I
And
had
it
that
was,
video of him singing. Sammy. So he did
yeah,
other
yeah.
things besides pitch. He was
Is that
singing.
is that the record? So there's like a Mets vinyl record that came out. Is that, I'm guessing that song is on that. Yeah, you have it, right? That's it. That's it. That's probably on there, right?
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
There's
Yep.
Nolan and Seaver and Hodges.
That's the same. They use the same. Yeah, they use a lot of the same photos on the team issued cards, the
Yeah.
postcards.
Yep.
Oh, that's exciting, man.
Well, this trip down Mets memory lane is brought to you by.
But
Yeah.
Rusty Staub, to me, he's in that group of guys that's not quite a Hall of Famer, but had really awesome careers. I mean, like Buddy Bell, Bill Buckner.
Yeah. Yep. Hall of Very Goods for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. How's your area up there, Rick, in the passing of Willie Mays? A lot of remembrances, I bet, going on
I think
in
they're
Northern
having
California.
I think the Giants play tomorrow at home, and they're going to have a big thing for him before the game. He's just
I'll be right back.
up here. A lot of stories on talk shows and people writing about. He was very generous with his autographs for players, and he'd be in the clubhouse almost every day from the 80s on, and players would come up to him, ask him questions. And,
it's funny when you think about his career. He was obviously a huge star when he was in New York, winning the MVP and the World Series, and he basically blew up into the player, the star that he was. And then had pioneered baseball on the West Coast as that star. And I don't think just that doesn't get talked about a lot, that he basically was a pioneer for baseball in half of the country, particularly your neck of the woods. And that's a big deal. I mean, he is as beloved in California as he was in New York. And I don't think you could say that about a lot of players. Like Nolan Ryan bounced around to a bunch of different towns, and I don't think there's the same sort of feel, or didn't have the same effect that Willie Mays did. I don't know. I don't know if I'm making any sense here.
Yeah, they moved to the West Coast when my dad turned 10, and so
it's weird here, and I've said this a lot of times. Is it's a big older people, my grandfather, people that are twice my age when I was growing up, would say Joe DiMaggio, because he was grown. He had a restaurant here. He grew up in San Francisco. There's a park. Joe DiMaggio
played for the Seals, right? Played for the Seals.
He was loved here.
Yeah.
And Mays, coming from New York, when he first came here, it was Joe DiMaggio was the better player. Joe DiMaggio. So he wasn't, I guess I wasn't around, but Joe DiMaggio was the man, or anyone that was, homegrown was the people that they loved, So maybe that's like everywhere, I don't know, but it took them a while, I guess, for people to say, hey, Willie Mays is ours. Passes the torch from Joe DiMaggio to Willie Mays.
That's a good point.
Willie McCovey was homegrown. I mean, he wasn't from San Francisco, but he went to, through the system here. And he did, so he's well loved. I would say when I was young, I mean, he would get just as much cheers as Willie Mays would if they were to introduce him at a old timers type event or whatever.
Yeah.
That.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Look at this. There's Tom Seaver wearing Willie McCovey's jersey for some reason in that Mets yearbook. This yearbook just keeps giving. There's Tom and Willie Mays there before he came back to the Mets.
Yeah.
But that's
So
that's
that-
an interesting point about Willie McCovey. That's interesting.
Yeah, Willie
Yeah.
McCovey left the old duel. Now he's way before my time.
Right.
There's a bridge right next to the ballpark, left the old bridge. Left the old duel restaurant. So he's a homegrown guy. So anyone homegrown,
Right.
you know, it could be any sport. Steph Curry, even though didn't grow up here, he played his whole career here. So if you have like Kevin Durant come in here or what for the Warrior, it's Curry. Curry's whatever. Anyone that's homegrown is.
I heard you guys talking about, was it Bill Cartwright? Is he a Northern California guy?
Yeah, he went to USF, University of San Francisco. I think they had an unbelievable team back in the old days where they were undefeated. I think UCLA beat them. They're like whatever 28 games in a row they won. Yeah. So
Mhm.
I think he still
Another-
works for the University of San Francisco.
Okay.
But, yeah. So anyway, I don't know. Is that like that when is it pretty much homegrown? And if you're not homegrown, you got to build the trust of.
You know,
Fans
I'm
or-
trying to think. I'm trying to think if who the homegrown talent. I mean, coming through the system, homegrown, yeah, for sure. I mean, the Mets don't homegrow anybody anymore. I mean,
They had their moment. I mean, their biggest moment with the Mets, at least in the past years, was the pitching. They had their opportunity. They had the chance.
yeah,
I mean, like the 2015 World Series. I mean, that was like you had Mats, you had Syndergaard, or not Syndergaard wasn't homegrown, but you had Mats, you had DeGrom, you had Harvey, and who am I forgetting?
well, you got it. Oh,
Those three guys. And I mean, and DeGrom wasn't even the best guy wasn't at his best at that point. It wasn't until a couple years after where he became just unbelievable. And it was just it's just honestly, it's a damn shame that he got hurt. Because he was on pace to beat out Gibson for the ERA. I think he would have done it.
Yeah.
I think DeGrom was that good. He was so good.
Yeah. He was like having an elite closer pitch every inning. But, you know, Seaver was homegrown. Again, it just sort of begins and ends with Seaver, basically, because he was the, ultimate homegrown guy. He only spent a year in the minor leagues, but and then they traded him away. And the Mets just don't do anything right with their players. They got Seaver and Gooden and Strawberry, who ended up not, panning out as properly as they should have anyway. But I think you're fair. Yeah, that's right. David Wright. Greg is right. Number 5, David Wright. Jose Reyes.
I think Jose Reyes. I think he's actually publicly said he regrets taking that contract instead of sticking with the Mets.
Yeah, and they have a big decision to make on Pete Alonso. That's the next guy. He could.
Yeah, but he's not. He's not staying. They're not going to keep him. Yeah. It's such a shame, but I don't think they're going to keep him around.
Yeah.
I think he's with Scott Boras at the helm. But, I mean, who knows? I mean, Scott Boras, I think a lot of players learned about what happened when you're represented by Scott Boras. You're not getting the commanding money that Scott Boras used to get with a lot of his players in the early 2000s and the 90s. You saw what happened with Blake Snell. I mean, Blake Snell, he started after the season began. He got signed after. So, yeah, this might be a shift in how powerful these agents have control over the players. So, remember the Freddie? I heard the Freddie Freeman fiasco. When Freddie Freeman, he went to the Dodgers because his agent didn't tell him about the Braves giving him presenting him an offer, a very strong offer, because it sounded like Freeman wanted to stay. And he didn't find out until after. That's gotta sting a little bit. Yeah, it's not good, man. I mean, that's a thing. It's like I admire homegrown players. I love the fact when a player stays within a team their entire career. It's so rare these days. You don't see it.
Yeah, I think it's just really difficult. It's difficult to. There's so much funny money out there, and so many different injuries, and contracts are so different. And the days of Willie McCovey or Tom Seaver, are I think they're gone, because you're not going to see Cal Ripkins and I guess Derek Jeter stuck with the Yankees all those years. Like that was a big deal. Yankees feel like their own category of team. I don't know.
Well, do you like so when a player plays a majority of their career with one team, and then they get to the end of their long-term contract that they're in, and they go to another team to play for a year or two, just to finish their career? I mean, like, do you consider that kind of like? I guess the question has its own answer. That player didn't play their entire career, but can you kind of trick yourself into thinking that, all right, this person, dedicated player for that one team the entire time? I don't know. I'm babbling.
Yeah, no, I mean, think about Willie Mays. He was a Giant all those years, and then came to the Mets, and
Right.
nobody really. I mean, unless you're a Met fan, you don't really think about those years. Or
Yeah.
like Duke Snyder, who came over to the Mets at the end. The Mets
Right.
are really good at getting those players at the very end.
Ricky Ashburn.
Yeah, Richie Ashburn. So I don't know.
I think as years go by, you don't like, Joe Montana went to Kansas City, but you consider him more a 49er, even though he played a couple of years.
Well, that was a big controversy when they switched to Steve Young, wasn't it?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you know what? And they played the next year, and the Kansas City beat the 49ers. I wanted the 49ers to kill Joe Montana. And I'm a team guy.
Is that right?
I'm a team guy through and through. If a player goes to another team, team for whatever
They're dead
reason.
to
you. So I don't know, just the way I am. I don't know.
Okay, we'll remember that. Just we'll try not to cross you, Rick.
Like
I
that
didn't
Homer.
feel quite the same as that because being a Bay Area kid and sharing your birthday with Joe felt pretty special.
I mean, I was a huge Joe Montana fan, but then, like I said, they were playing Kansas City on that Sunday the next year, and I wanted the 49ers to kill them. I'm a huge 49er. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm back to a Joe Montana fan, but just that particular.
Right. The wound has healed. Yeah.
Yeah, wound has healed.
Because Jerry Rice went, and where did Jerry Rice went to the Raiders or
Raiders, Seattle. We have a dilemma now. Our team's Klay Thompson is a free agent, and he's not worth what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And
the
Warriors really can't.
Year.
Warriors really can't. I mean, they're so over the cap. 50, 75 million more than any other team. And you have that tax on it, whatever. But they can't afford him. And there's most likely he's probably going to leave for the money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a shame because he only has a couple of years left. And
did he have a good year this year?
I'm sorry?
Did he have a good year this year?
Not really. He's more of a sixth man, seventh man.
Klay
He used to
Thompson?
be a fantastic defensive player. He's 6'7". He's slower. He had a bunch of injuries. He could still shoot the ball, but he's not worth $20 million just to sit out there and shoot the ball. And so the Warriors have a dilemma. If you were another team, you're really not going to pay this guy. He's not, but he's homegrown. He won 4 championships. They sucked before he got there. Is the owner going to pay the money, or is he going to go for the money? And I don't know.
It's funny. You can. Though I don't envy the decision by ownership in some of those situations. Like you look at the St. Louis Cardinals are tanking right now. They're just a terrible team, and that's a team that held on to Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright, and who's the other Hall of Famer that they had? That they just let.
Oh.
No, not Pujols.
Hall of Famer.
I guess they did have Pujols at the end there. Anyway, like there's a cost. They let all those guys go out on their own volition and do their farewell tours, and that costs money. And then there's a cost to hanging on to the sort of glory, even though the fans love it. There's a downside to it. I mean, when does the rebuild start? I guess is the question. Particularly when you have Steph Curry, who's still.
Yeah, he's still good.
All world.
And he's trying to still win with them while he has a couple more years.
I think
so the
Steph
owners,
Lifer.
I don't know.
I think Steph Curry will stay a
No, he will. He will.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere else.
No. Steve Kerr has 2 more years, and Curry has 2 more years right now on their contracts. And I think he's not going to go. The
How many
owner
years?
will pay whatever. Even if Curry has to sit out there in the corner and stand there and shoot threes, they'll pay him whatever. He's pretty much a god in here.
Oh, the fans
Yeah.
wouldn't. The fans
No,
would
he's a
not
god.
be able
I mean,
to live with that.
there's no one better than Curry as a person around.
Well, he
the
makes
league.
more from his Under Armour thing than the Warriors have ever paid
he's
him.
not gonna do that. Hey, I gotta go because my thing is like 3% right now. But I appreciate Mookie. Glad to meet you,
It was a
Sammy,
thrill to meet you, Rick.
and John. You're the man. Hopefully you win it. I'm gonna live through you on my phone here. Okay.
Thanks, Rick.
Still got it, man. If you win it, bring it to the National.
Yeah, I think I will.
All right, man. Hey, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, Rick.
Rick.
Take care.
All right,
See
bye.
you, Rick.
Bye.
Oh, man. Well, I still have half a beer to finish, so I'm sticking around until that ends. And there's more. It looks like there's some people coming in. So, hey, Mac Wax Stacks.
Oh, BK.
Yeah, man.
BK could do some basketball talk.
Yeah. Brought this out because we were talking about Seaver.
There it is.
Yeah. As soon as I saw this come up on eBay, I was like, I'm going to do whatever I can to get this thing.
Now I'm isolated with 2 Mets fans. Damn it.
Hey, man, there's no threat here.
Come on, where's Greg? Get him back on here. Balance out the coast.
Balance out the load. I think Greg is still around, but I put the invitation out, but I guess when the response I was getting was like, I've had enough. that was Orlando's response. He was like, I've had enough. Like,
now when Orlando is telling you he's had enough, that is a breaking news headline.
Orlando's feisty, man. He's getting feisty. this whole like his hour with Petty, man. He's bringing out his feist.
We definitely stand inside of him.
Yeah.
Well, I got to go back and watch some of this again. I feel like there was some of it that I missed a little bit of, but I want to check out. Is there anything you missed, John? Did you get to watch it all?
I missed some of it. Like, I had I let Keating control the stream himself, so I could do a lunch break today. And then, I missed a little bit of yesterday.
Were there any? Keating did a bunch of live streams. What was he in? He was in the Philadelphia one. What else was he in? He was in another one.
Yeah, the Philadelphia one was today at noon my time. So, but then
Theo has no guts to get on here right now. That's the problem.
This is the Hobbypalooza after hours, and we're missing our third comrade. That's all right. I decided just to, because as soon as I saw the reaction that we were getting when we were finishing, like people wanted more and more and more. I figured, all right, I got beer. I have time. I'm not working, so I'm not working tomorrow. But I know. I imagine you guys are working tomorrow, right? Or no?
Yeah, I'm working tomorrow.
Oh, this is hilarious. I love being on the screen and watching the heckling from the stream. Like Iconic Al, John, would you ever say you've had a weak stream?
Oh my God! Come on, Al.
Al, please. How dare you?
I haven't spoken to Al in quite some time. We did that collaboration video a while back. It was great. Al's a great guest, a great person to have on if you ever want to do a collaboration.
Well, I got signed into more of IG so I could make contact with some of these channels to invite. And I happened to catch, because then I friended Al on there or followed him or whatever. And I caught him on this live stream he's doing, drinking beer. and he was spicy on there.
Ooh,
So-
Al?
Oh, the bourbon and ball games, or what, is that what you're talking about, John?
Something on Instagram.
Yes,
With,
I
Al?
saw that.
yeah,
Al was
Yeah.
Al was spicy. Al was spicy.
yeah. The whole
Man.
crew is.
Al's the tallest person out of the entire community. He's 6'7", I think.
Spicy and tall. Yeah. Uh-oh.
There we go. Let's go.
Now, if
West-
my wife's movie gets so loud that there's background sound, let me know and I'll mute myself.
Well,
Is
she-
it Sleepless in Seattle, or what? What is she watching?
I don't know. It's something got Woody Harrelson in it. Hold on, let me
Oh.
ask her.
White Men Can't Jump?
I love when the white man can't jump. They're like doing Yo Mama jokes at the beginning. Actually, my favorite is the I don't know the actor's name, but he's like dancing. He's like, "We going to Sizzler, we going to."
She said she's watching something called Champions.
Oh.
It's got Woody Harrelson.
Actually, one final fun fact about White Men Can't Jump: the guy that goes into the convenience store to put the mask on and rob the guy for money is Marcus Johnson, who was a former NBA star and was sadly ended up getting hurt towards the end of his career. But he was on track to be a Hall of Famer because his numbers were phenomenal in the NBA. Played for the Bucks, I think. And so he would have been he was with I think he was still he got drafted right around the time. I think Oscar Robertson was still playing with he played with Oscar with the Big O, and I think Kareem was still with them at the time. But yeah, he went in and he was the guy wearing the mask trying to rob the convenience store.
That reminds me of Samuel L. Jackson robbing store in a movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was in Coming to
That was-
America, wasn't
Coming
it?
to America. Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew saying Above the Rim. Above the Rim was great. Dwayne, I think his name was Dwayne something. He was a potential. He played for the Knicks, but never. I don't think he ever made great strides as an NBA player. But that was a good movie too. Tupac Shakur was in it.
Mm.
If you ever want Dwayne Martin, yeah, that's it.
I think. Oh, sorry.
Ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna try and harvest some Hobbypalooza hot takes from Greg to see what his experience with the Hobbypalooza experience was.
I mean, as a viewer, as a person who was gifted an hour.
Big picture. Give me the big picture, and then focus on your hour.
I think it hit a new. I think it hit a new stratosphere this year. I think that across the board, from start to finish, there was way more involvement in the chat. There was way more people in all the streams. The continuity was fantastic. I thought it was really, really good, and I'm excited to see what happens with it next year, because I think if it keeps taking jumps like this, I think it's becoming like a real staple, like a real marquee event. I think it's great. I was happy to just have some time to participate.
Well, now how about your hour? How did your hour go?
Well, I have a lot of fun hanging out with Darren. Like, Darren and I speak the same language, and he shops in a different aisle than me. I'm over getting my suit at Sears while he's got a personal shopper at Nordstrom's. But we connect and we click, and we have a lot of fun together. And I think when you have a natural rapport with someone, I think that just kind of comes across. I didn't know how many people would show up. I talked to a couple of people that could see the ticker of how many people were in there, and it sounds like we had over 100 for most of the time. So that's fantastic. I just, is whenever people are engaged that's the key, like that's one of the things I try really hard on my channel to do is find ways for people to be engaged and not just watchers, but participants. And when people are attending a stream, just like right now, I mean, I can't see anymore, but I've been watching for the last little bit, and there's been like 30 people in here at midnight on the East Coast. Like, and there's a few people commenting, but it's like, it's fantastic. So from my perspective, I mean, everything couldn't have gone much better as a viewer and as a person who participated. Yeah.
I'll accept that. I'll accept that answer.
Yeah. If you didn't, that's okay too.
Greg was threatening me not to ruin his live stream.
We were messing with you. We knew what the clock was at. And we were just, that was the joke. Whenever John would come on, it was like, how when at the NFL draft, whenever Goodell goes out there and they boo him, because it's like, oh, it's that guy who's, and it was like that was the ongoing joke all week is, oh, John's here to end it, and so I was just playing that up, as, oh, you're not going to come and ruin this, Sammy, but yeah.
Well, I know who's going to be your show producer next year.
Sammy?
I don't think so. I think he's fired from your producing because I'd be clicking that in live button at probably 3 or 4 till.
Well, we got it done in time. The other thing I knew in the back of my mind is I knew, because I heard you in the green room before, that you were starting the next one. So I knew it wasn't like Sammy had to be in 2 places at once. So I knew as long as we were done by the actual hour mark that it wasn't going to interfere with anything. So it was sort of like a game of chicken, like on, Stand By Me when the train's coming.
So yeah, Al brought up, we talked about this, I think early on, but fundraising totals came out to $5,500, which is phenomenal. I mean, that is outstanding numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was going to get that amount was going to be that much, but awesome. That was awesome.
Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that much either.
Yeah, I guess I'm fired.
I called it. I talked to Theo last night. He told me what you guys were at. I said 5K. You're gonna get to 5K, and you did it. You did it. That was great.
Very, very cool.
Very impressive. And I'm not even gonna talk about the 1,000 that I donated.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that to come in. Funny.
I wrote a check. I wrote a Mike Petty check. I love Mike Petty's checks. They're so good.
The thing about that check, Mook, too, is it was folded up. So it was like, I'm not kidding you. Say this is the check, right? When he ended up pulling that thing out, it was folded down like this. It was like that big. And he had to like unfold it, and it was all creased up. That was a memorable moment.
Yeah, that was great.
It's written, it says, to handsome friend from Mike Petty.
You were asking about highlights earlier. My highlight was Mike Petty comes on. So they do, Orlando does his intro. Then they play the whole video of the Batman, thing. And then Petty goes on, he goes, "What's up, fruitcakes?" That's the first thing he said.
Set the tone right away.
I was sitting there on my headphones on, sitting in the living room, and I was laughing, and my wife's like, "What are you watching?" And I'm just like, "You don't even want to know."
Well, the other thing we were laughing about, Greg, was when poor John, you had your headset, and the audio was terrible. So the chat was just destroying John.
Yeah. John,
what was your line, Greg?
John coming in from the moon, and then I said, "John, do you think you could Do you think you could use Morse code so we can actually understand you?
And I think John has a pre-war vintage oddball headset. Oh, you took it all in fun, John. It was as it was meant. It was so fun.
If you can't laugh at yourself, then you're just, you know.
Yeah, I know a few people like that. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's getting close to midnight here on the East Coast, and I do
know,
have
which,
work in the morning.
4 minutes, 11:56.
Yeah.
So, well, you got to stay on 4 minutes to find out how John's thing finishes, though.
Oh yeah,
Well,
yeah. All right.
It would be 15 minutes more than that, unfortunately.
So it's 20 minutes from now.
19 minutes. I might have purchased a Babe fucking Ruth, to quote Mike.
But then it might go another 15 minutes after if somebody else bids.
If
right?
anybody bids at this point, I'm already at my max, so I'm out, and I will go to national with budget.
So so if somebody else bid, so this is part of the opaqueness of the auction world. So the structure is you put in a bid at midnight, you find out if somebody else has bid over you. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, you put in whatever your max as an auto bid, and then essentially from that point you get pinged every time somebody bids, and it bumps up what your current bid is. And at this point, I'm guessing the person that bid last bid $100 less than me, because I don't think it lets you match the person exactly, like you can potentially do on eBay. But whoever did the last bid pushed me all the way up to my limit and didn't go farther. So,
oh, I see.
John, is there a small part of you that wants to be outbid so that you have your money back, or are you 100% hoping that you get it?
I'm almost at a place where I feel like the quest for this card, I am hoping it's over.
Yeah.
I know I won't have money at the National, though, but then I'll feel free once I start accumulating money. Yeah. That, this hurdle is passed. But, I'm going to love the card, obviously, but it's almost, I'm in this, trap down this path that I want to complete this badly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you're in a world where this is like the Schrodinger's cat. You know what that is? The Schrodinger's cat. There's a box, there's a cat in it, and you don't know if you open the box and the cat is dead, you killed the cat, but you don't know if the cat is dead or not. So anyway, this is the Schrodinger's cat. So right now, two possibilities could be the case. Now, if you lose this bid, you have the budget to go to Cleveland with. If you win, is there a fire sale? Is there some scramble to refill coffers between now and in the middle of July?
No.
Okay.
See, I thought that was a fantastic question, and then John just absolutely destroyed it.
Because honestly, the budget I went up to is what I would accumulate all the way up to leaving for Cleveland. I can handle the borrowing it out of the family reserve to.
Oh, okay. So the family is going to pay for your cards now. If you win.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
I do know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'll be accumulating the rest of that money in because I've set it up where it's just an automatic deposit to a savings account. So I see that growing each week type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's counting down. Yeah, last 15 minutes. It's counting down right now.
I've got a card, Mookie, to answer that I had for sale on eBay, and I just got an offer for it actually about 20 minutes ago. And if it wasn't right before the National, I wouldn't accept the offer. But because the National is coming, I'm like, I think I'm going to take it. You know, like,
Right.
yeah, it's like it puts things in a different perspective because I'm like, I could get that card back for for the amount I'm going to net. So
Yeah.
why wouldn't I sell it and then free up the money? And then if I decide not to spend it, I could just get that card back for that amount. So
Yes.
it's like I definitely live in that zone that you're talking about let's fill up the coffers, especially with not rare stuff, you know? Like what John's looking for, I think Rick said it perfectly earlier, where it's like there are going to be not very many of those cards exist. And then of the ones that exist aren't in this grade. And then of the ones in this grade, how many would he actually want? So there might only be a handful on Earth. And this is
Right.
one of them. He has to go for it. He has to.
Right.
Well,
But
I mean,
You're saying
Greg,
he should increase his bid, is what you're saying, Greg. Greg is saying
this is the
increase-
only SGC authentic in existence.
Yeah.
That's
so-
the Garrick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think there's 4 or 5 that are PSA.
Wow.
So
So you have to go for those when you get into those rare categories. You have to go for them when they present themselves, even if it's not convenient. But the stuff like on the wall behind him, you know, he's got that whole case of maize over his shoulder there. Like any of those cards, he could get on eBay tomorrow and replace.
oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
By the
after
way-
this, so there's that 15-minute countdown. What happens after the 15 minutes? If nothing,
If-
13 minutes now. Let's all
It's 12 and a half
Focus.
minutes. This is my final counter.
so this is the
So-
final counter. So whatever happens, happens. Like they're not going to keep adding more time to this.
If no one bids, it's my card.
Oh, you got to
If
stick
someone
around. We got to
bids,
stick around for this.
It's
I agree.
it's past
Nice.
my budget.
Actually, can I? Sorry, John. If this,
You want me to share screen?
No, I'll share it right now. I have it up, man.
Oh,
Is it
okay.
all right if I do it?
sure.
Oh my God.
Just tell me this is it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll just keep that up.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
you're giving me my stomach is churning now. This is
All right,
crazy.
I'll tell you what. I just wanted to confirm that's what it is. I'll pull it up when it gets really close, and we'll celebrate if everything works out, which I think it will. I think it will.
Look at Theo's comment.
My kids
Yeah.
could pay for their own damn college. Give me Babe Ruth.
I'm glad we could celebrate
Yeah.
this here with you, man. I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna happen, man.
I do too.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's touching that.
I think it's 2, and I think that you're going to have to dig through the leftover doggy bags in Cleveland to feed
Well, if you
yourself
look at
out of the frat house that you're staying at.
If you look at the bid history, no one has bid since 7:36 Eastern time.
Oh boy.
That's because they're waiting for 11 minutes from now.
They were watching Hobbypalooza and they said, I'm going to do this while John's busy.
The fast extended to October. Oh man.
Well,
Yeah,
this is
Al says it best, man. Playing day roots are hard to acquire,
Yeah,
and as
Well-
Yogi said, it ain't over till it's over.
that's true too.
But yeah, I mean, listen, man, I'm rooting for you, John. After tonight, man, you deserve to get that car.
Thanks.
It would be the end of an epic weekend, dude.
It would be. It would be. I mean, that's picture perfect.
hmm
Would be crazy.
Yeah,
And I can just follow people around at the National and help them find cards.
that's pretty.
Yeah.
much, man.
tapping on the shoulder. What are you doing? That's pretty good. I mean, that's part of the fun of it is not as being liberated. I loved walking around that Philly show with Sammy, sort of without any real direct obligation on my mind, helping him look for cards. So there's a joy to that, and it's fun. And I guess, John, you probably don't get that many people up there. You don't get to go to card shows with YouTubers like.
Occasionally, I meet up with Adam at the Portland show. So
Yeah.
I'm the one on my own. There's
Wow.
no one around me.
Yeah, but you have like the hordes of people who come up to you and
And you're like Prince in the Revolution, man. You got the revolution with you.
Oh, jeez.
The other day, Greg came home from the show and told me his Sharpie ran out of ink.
That's so dumb. I do. Mike Petty is supposedly flying up to Sacramento for a show here in a couple weeks.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
He booked the flight for the show
wrong show. The good show is next weekend. My dad and I are setting up at a table.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that'll be a blast. And then he was supposed to come for that one, and he booked the other one.
Prayer circle for John.
As a part damn timers I've watched, Mike Petty could be really drunk with all these.
As a part-time dealer, I can say doing it's a lot of fun. I love setting up, and the consignment that I took in added a level of conflict, but I'm working it out little by little.
Well, I've got a whole box, like a whole 2-row of Darren's cards that he mailed me, because he's been talking about how he's got this box full of cards that he doesn't care about and he never looks at. And I was like, I'm setting up a show. This is a couple of months ago. So he mailed them all to me. I sold a couple of them. So I got a bunch of Darren stuff to try to sell.
So I'm sure that'll be. Did you work out a deal with him in terms? of...
I'm just doing it because he's my buddy. So they would pay me cash, and I just PayPal'd him his money.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
that's
cool,
and
so
do you get to cut the prices? What is it?
He gave me an amount of wiggle room.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
that is a fruit.
I don't see you in here very often, Al. You're not in a lot of live stream chats. This is nice.
Yeah, it is nice. I'd love that if Al wants to join. I'll leave the link in there. I'd love for him to jump in on this.
Ken, I never got to answer your. Oh yeah, we did answer your question in my stream with Darren about how we connected.
Oh, Theo's singing. Look at this. Everybody, we can't. What's the countdown at? 7 minutes? 6 minutes?
7 minutes and change.
Oh my God, this is.
I mean, John is keeping his cool, man. I swear. Yeah. Like inside, his heart must be.
Can you give me an approximate amount of money we're talking about? I don't even know what something like that goes for. Just you don't have to give me an exact amount, but is this like a multiple thousands of dollars? Is this a single $1,000? Is this?
It's not a one in the front. Yeah.
A one?
It's not a one.
Oh my. Okay.
We could do, if we got 6 or 5 minutes, we could do a short-winded here, Greg. You want
to?
Okay, yeah.
Just do a
rapid fire.
Two questions short-winded.
I'm sorry. I didn't think this live stream was running on the Mookie Chilson channel.
This is the danger when you give me a link. I'm sorry, Sammy.
I'm just messing, man.
Sammy knows when you get in the car with me or give me the link, you're ceding control.
I've asked Mookie to be a guest on Short Winded, and he keeps telling me no. So
I'm washing my hair, is what I told you.
Thank you.
That's what my wife says a lot. And she's got a headache.
Andrew, the current bid is $3,400, but I don't have to tell you that. I think John knows.
I'm gonna tell you a quick story. This is a pretty funny story. So on my wedding, the rehearsal dinner night, okay, my mom gets up and does a speech at the rehearsal dinner the night before we get married, right? And she gives a couple of gifts to a couple of people, and she gives my wife a bottle of Advil, and she said, "No headaches tomorrow night, Megan." My mom, that was awesome.
Mama midlife for the win. There
for the win.
It should have been an extra large size. It would last her for a couple of years.
All right, we're getting down to the nitty gritty, man.
Yeah. What do we got? 5 minutes?
Less than that. 4 and change.
Wow.
Yeah, I basically started thinking about this purchase. I hadn't picked the exact card yet, but it was watching last year's national videos.
This is
Really?
like somebody said this is like waiting for a baby to be born. I feel like it's more like is the governor going to call for a reprieve, or is the execution going to go forward?
What video did you see? Was there a video you saw this card in a video and you said, I like that card, John?
No, I just like how I picked my post-war selections, I spend hours staring at like trading card database, looking at the players, every single card they've ever had, or and then once I pick a few I like, then I start looking them up to see how much they sell for and if they're even a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trevor's right. It is like New Year's Eve. I wish there was some sort of like graphic where I can like do like party favor explosions.
That makes you Ryan Seacrest, Sammy.
Yeah, don't put Seacrest. Don't put Seacrest in this conversation.
It would be first and only, Andrew.
Listen, man, I'm what's his name? Oh, why? The guy that he used
Anderson
to host
Cooper.
No.
Dick
Before
Clark.
that. I'm Dick Clark, man.
Oh, dude, Dick Clark at the end. That was Weekend at Bernie's, man.
That was not pretty.
Bad.
All right, I'm gonna put it. All right, Theo's getting antsy. He's getting more antsy than John is right now. So
Okay, what do we have time wise?
I'll share it. I'm just gonna put it on the screen. We'll just count it down. We'll keep talking. There you go.
I was a decent poker player when I was participating in that activity because.
Is this enable password thing coming up? There you go. All right. There you go. We'll keep an eye on it. But I feel like if I leave it up there, it's just we're not going to talk. We're just going to stare at this thing.
Where's the clock? I don't see it. Oh, I
down
see
to 2.5 minutes on my screen.
John is dead. All right. So this is I think this is it hasn't moved, man. I think it's I have a good feeling about this.
It seems like if someone was going to do something, they already would have.
I have a feeling you're gonna come broke to the national.
How many bidders is it, Sammy? 77 bids. How many
bids? Yeah.
Is it John and some other guy, or is it like?
I can't log in right now, so it keeps it all privatized.
Yeah, it was me in on the card since June 13th. So, which was the day the auction opened. And there were 4 people that put bids in before I put my max.
Okay, so
current bid is up there now.
Yeah, that's been that way since the 15 minutes started.
I didn't notice that.
So if that number changes, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at that number.
Or the 77 going to 78.
Yeah, pretty much. That's yeah. Man, Andrew's nervous, man. Giving him
last minute.
All right, we're coming down to the wire.
Oh man,
this is going to be interesting. I think your bank account's about to be depleted by a little bit. Al, don't say that, man. Somebody knock on wood.
Don't tell Mangini. That's right.
Doesn't Mangini already have one?
All right, less than 30 seconds.
Actually, he does have one. I've seen it.
Wow.
Wait, just tell your wife.
On my 20s,
all right, 19, 18, 17, 16,
no, we did
15, 14.
This is past Mangini's bedtime.
10,
9,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2.
Oh, let me refresh. Congratulations!
Oh my goodness! Oh man!
Babe fucking Ruth!
Oh my gosh!
Whoa!
All right, let's get a closer look at this thing.
Oh my God, John! Congratulations!
There you go.
Congrats, man! That is phenomenal.
No pinhole.
Sorry, Milky. I guess it's not for you.
That's why I didn't bid.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, min size is a great authentic to have for a card
Yeah,
like this. Like,
It's
what?
my favorite
Honestly,
grade for pre-war.
but like, what is the min? Who?
It's a
It's
hand
cut.
cut card.
Yeah. Absolutely awesome.
Oh,
What's
wow.
on the back? What is it? Does it have anything on the back or blank?
Blank back.
there you go.
Yeah. All those hand cut strip cards are blank. Somebody wrote the wrong set on it once, and then they put the right set on there.
I
Oh,
kind of
look at
like that though. I kind of like, and also it's. I love the personalization at some point. Somebody wrote on it back in the day. I think it's kind of cool.
Wow, you own a
Congratulations, John.
playing days Babe Ruth card. That's crazy.
Are you?
Yeah,
I mean, John, are you relieved?
I sort of am. I mean, I'm not going to be able to buy any cards for a while, but yeah, this has been almost a year odyssey for me of obsession of trying to do this. So,
Look at Theo.
Oh,
wearing
Rick's
a
still
chain.
around.
That's
Wow.
incredible, man.
Hey, Rick came back to Jersey. Look at that. Look at that.
We're in that picture of the Natty. Let's go.
Oh,
Sorry, I want to get all the comments in here because I mean, honestly, there's a lot of people, man. All right, so Matt says congrats. Mike is saying congrats. John is broke. Let's go. Craig is all about it. Dom is excited. Back to Craig with congratulations. Patty just saying exactly to something.
as far as Mike Sports History Collector,
Rick.
the next ones I'd be eyeing would be like Wagner, Cobb, Mathewson. I want to get that inaugural 5.
I am now wealthier than John. That's awesome. Don't let the beast eat it. Holy buckets. But I don't have the root. Okay. Tag graded 7. Well, cards will be for sale to fund the national means. They cut a lot instead of a Mookie. We could do an auction. Yep, back to John. Oh man, this is awesome. You even woke Rick up. Mike wants to know what's your next card. That's awesome.
I'll be back in savings mode.
Yeah. John's gonna have middle-aged me all over him. Oh, middle-aged men all over him. Excuse me. Congrats. Thanks for letting us watch. Congrats. Peanut butter sandwiches for a while. Oh man, that is phenomenal. I had a feeling, man, that was going to work out for you because just no additional bids coming in. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. Congrats on winning a card that is exactly the amount that was raised for Hobbypalooza. Or I may have that wrong. I'm not saying anything.
Yeah.
Middle-aged Theo especially.
No, that is a great capper. That is a great capper to a great weekend. I don't know if you can't recreate this one. This will not happen again.
Yeah, seriously, that's a fairy tale ending.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Are you gonna buy a fireproof safe and start packing? Yeah, the way I see it is, that card. I imagine. It's like the same with getting the maze. I imagine like finding that card at the National. I feel like you'd end up probably paying a little bit more, perhaps.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, Matt, the card story was eyeing for them at Strongsville, and the only one he sent me a picture of was much rougher looking than that, and they wanted 1,000 more than I just had to spend.
Yeah, man. So the fact that, I mean, I love the fact, I mean, it's even if it's authentic, I mean, the fact that it doesn't say evidence of trimming, it doesn't say any of that stuff. It's just, yeah, man, it's just a beautiful looking card. I love the blue. I love the blue background to it. It really, it's just it's a work of art. I mean, it is a work of art because of all the different colors that are applied to that blue there. You know, it's not just a solid blue. It's like a mix of so many cool looking colors.
That's
Amazing.
why I liked it.
Yeah, it's the aesthetic of it is
Yeah.
is really just really beautiful looking.
Well, now you can just do a lot of scouting for other YouTubers at the National. We should give you our lists, and you can go to at the tables.
Sure thing.
Oh man. God, Theo just can't help himself. Kirk can turn that into a 5.
I don't think you can add more card to it. So
Great smile on Ruth. Terrible
Mike
eye appeal
Petty.
too. I love it. What are the previous sales if you look it up on the eBay? I don't know. I'm sure there's not that many of them.
Yeah,
But
clearly I hate the card, Mike. That's why I bought it.
strip card. I thought John bought a strip club.
I don't think the wife would go for that one.
Portland's finest. Oh man. How do you feel, John?
It feels all surreal at this point.
I mean,
So-
I know you're working off of like strings right now because of, you know, the level of exhaustion you're probably feeling, but yeah, man, you'll probably feel it tomorrow. It's like working out and then the next day you feel the soreness.
Oh
But in
yeah,
that
I'm
case,
gonna be awesome at work tomorrow. I mean, I get to sit here for work. I only have to go in on Tuesdays, but
Oh, that's good. Yeah, man. Everyone's excited for you, though. We're all excited for you. It's
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I'm just leaving it up. I'm not even taking it down. Is this your first time at an auction, winning something from an auction?
no, actually, the Gehrig
Oh,
was
right.
my first one,
Gotcha.
and then I also got that Joe DiMaggio. That was the one that the back damage when it's a blank back. So
Is this the? I mean, I never really like to kind of bring price into things, but or try not to. But is this the highest price card you've paid for?
oh yeah,
Okay.
the other than that, the Gehrig here is the only card. These are the only two cards I've exceeded $500 for.
That's wild. Do you guys mind? I want to take a look at, like, there was some card. There was like a Cracker Jack. What was it, Ty Cobb that was in there? I'm curious what that went for. Let me see. Do you mind if I'm going to take this off for a second?
It's still up on my screen, so I'm good.
Let's see what this one. Oh, this one's still going. 32,000.
Good Lord.
Yeah, see what happens after midnight Eastern is they keep cycling 15 minutes only if somebody bids on that specific card now.
Oh, so within that time frame, they kind of reset the clock.
Yeah, you get a single bid, and then it's another 15 minutes. So
We brought Rick back.
Ah,
Hey, there he is.
thank you, Rick.
I'm so happy for you, man. Man, that's a beautiful card. I looked at a 2 went for like $9,000, and yours looks just as good as that one.
wow.
Yeah, it's
Really?
crazy how much people pay up for the stupid number.
Yeah. 9K, 9,600, man. And yours looks just as, looks the same. It just cut a little different.
Yeah,
save $6,000. It's crazy. And then some of the ones I looked, don't even know close to what yours looks like for the same amount. So I don't know.
Yeah, I just looked on Card Ladder too, and there are some very inferior cards in the same authentic grade that sold for more.
Oh yeah, that's why I totally expected it to go past my budget even when I first started bidding on it. I thought it was a pipe dream.
Yeah, I mean, I see one here that looks like 5/11/2024 for $3K, and it looks like somebody took a bite out of it.
Yep.
So I mean, I think now granted, play with
this is
play
the one he's
money
talking
here,
about.
Yeah, look at
That
that
one
thing. Somebody
sold
took
for
a bite out of
$3K.
it.
Oh yeah. That's the $3,000 card?
This
Well,
one
that was
sold
an
for
eBay
$3,000.
one, right?
That is, it's also an authentic, and that one was in May 11th on eBay.
Yeah, for whatever reason, the eBay ones are crazy. They go high even with crappy.
This one sold for 3,400. Check this out. This one sold for 3,400.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, well, I think that one is actually the most rare version.
Is that a Type 2? Yeah, that's a Type 2.
So yeah, those ones I see that go for crazy prices as beaters.
Yeah, but your pop on that thing is low as is. I mean,
all right, so check this one. This one sold for $4,750.
And that's what I expected this one to potentially meet or exceed.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that chipped at the top, or what is that at the top there?
It's printing from the top. It's printing for the card above it. That marking you were seeing, it's the name above, I believe.
Oh, okay. So like a miscut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the one that's in March of 24,
That's it.
9,600 Heritage. Yours, and I don't even know why it's a 2. It should be authentic too, the way it's cut. So, I don't know. They don't, the way they grade these things, it's a crapshoot. See how it's cut there?
Yeah, that one right
left?
there.
That's the same card. I mean, that's the same shape, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, John's is better than that one.
Yeah, I think mine's a little cleaner.
That's incredible.
It's a slightly less border.
It's the Wild West when they grade these things. There's no rhyme or reason for PSA and SGC. You look at one, look at another. Just no idea how they.
I mean, the good thing about the writing on the back, John, is you could just add more, like John was here, so that.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing any cracking Cooperstown with that.
Yeah. Look at that. I don't know. I think you did fantastic.
Yeah, the eye appeal on yours is way better than all these. And I think, like Rick said, I believe
it stayed in my budget.
Yeah.
Bring it. You better bring it. I'm expecting you to bring it.
Sure. Waiting for Theo's chain, right?
Put it under lock and key.
Well, the Hobbypalooza god smiled on you, John, for a
apparently
weekend well done. Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
So what's next? What's next in the future? Now that you got the roof. You got the Garrett and the roof.
Yeah, I want to finish the inaugural 5. So I still need Wagner, Cobb, Mathewson.
Gotcha.
I think Wagner, the only thing even remotely I'd gonna budget for would be either the 2 1913 game cards, one of those, or the 1914 Polo Grounds.
Yeah.
because you can get that in a low grade for maybe up right around 1,000 or slightly less.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so John, here's my question: somebody offers you 5,000 cash for it. Do you take it?
I don't have a show like you. I'm not used to these on the spot here. So
you bring it to the national, and you're passing it around, showing people, and someone goes, "Here's 5K." What do you do?
Mike Petty says, "Here's 5K."
Here you go, my handsome friend.
I think I'm done. I think I'm, my wife will probably be selling this card. So
okay, 6K.
now you start getting stupid money. I don't think I can pass it up. But
Oh man,
That's crazy.
I don't think even with stupid money, I don't think I can move that card.
yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't move it. As Andrew says, it will go to the moon, but that's to me, it's just having the card in the possession and just knowing how tough it is to find. I mean, it's a card, as Rick mentioned, it's not easy to find. So I would just appreciate the fact that you have it.
That is not with the premium included. So you add $680 to that.
Yeah, well,
And you're not taxed, huh? That's nice.
A 0% tax in Oregon, so that's one benefit I have.
Very good.
Of course, our well, I won't say anything about Greg because Greg's got sales tax and crappy income tax, but yeah, our income tax is a lot higher than most other states. So, except for California and New York, Hawaii, maybe a few others.
Yeah, I got to move to I need to move to Oregon, man. That's what it sounds like. That's the place to go.
I think that's why PWCC is here because of the 0% sales tax. Because when they got started, they were able to sell things and not charge sales tax over the internet.
Theo.
Theo's got schemes for you. Don't worry.
Where the hell is Theo, man? He's in the chat. He can't come on for 5 minutes.
Theo is busy recording himself in the bedroom again, I think.
What's going on, YouTube?
Uh-oh. Sammy's repertoire is expanding. Be careful.
No. I'm leaving that alone. I'm leaving it alone. I'll get.
All right. Well, I'm gonna bow out now. John, congratulations on the card. Well done.
Thank you.
On the weekend. Sammy, great job. Rick and Greg, great job. All of you guys. Thanks for keeping me busy and away from my family all weekend.
Thank you, Theo.
All right. I'm going to take off. Bye, guys.
Right, see you, Mook.
All right.
See you, Mook.
All right. Bye.
Oh man.
Look at John.
Yeah, look at him.
He's
It's like he
calm,
just
man.
got off a space mountain and he's just kind of soaking it in.
Oh,
You'll have to put John, since you're the editing king here, you'll have to include some of this because I wasn't watching when it first came up. I included to your video when you show the card, the reaction you had and this, that, and the chat.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
well, it'll have to be edited too because I gave a Mike Petty version. So,
You want me to download this video and send it over to you?
Just screen record it.
That works too, but the quality gets lost if we're gonna get technical. I do a good Dylan impersonation.
I actually think that's your best one, if I'm being honest.
The Dylan one?
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh man, yeah. You watch enough of his videos, you start kind of hearing certain things, and you just kind of go, all of a sudden they go here. You go from here, and then you go, hey guys. So I just picked up a Robin Yount 1975, perfectly centered in an SGC4. Take a look. Oh, come on, man. It's not that bad. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, John doesn't agree, but that's all right. Whatever. I don't care. You guys can make fun of whatever you want. Don't affect me. All right, I think we're kind of hitting the peak, right? So I think we're done.
Yep.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Congrats, John.
Congrats,
Great job,
John.
you guys.
Yeah. That was awesome, man. That was really cool to see that.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to really see John's reaction. I was kind of hearing Greg and Mookie's reaction, and then John was probably just like, yeah,
Stoic.
yeah, poker face, man, poker face. All right, guys, good times. Congrats again, John, and thank you everybody in the chat. 32 people. We had probably about that, so that was awesome. And thank you to everybody that joined the Hobbypalooza, all the participants, and honestly, good times all around. Another good year, and I will see you guys in a month, physically at the National.
That's right.
Sounds fun.
It'd be
All
great.
right,
See you
All right.
guys.
take care.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.